Today we're here with a new horse, one that I think will be good for you guys to watch. She actually just got transitioned into the snaffle. She's pretty good with it because she's been in the hackamore for so long, but you guys can kind of see if I do deal with anything, what happens there. And then we're gonna work on setting up for the lead change and potentially changing leads today. Just like all my horses, the lead departure is very important. I'm gonna make sure that I can put my outside leg on this mare. She is deaf, so I wanna make sure I can put my outside leg on and set her up like so, then wave my inside leg, make her lope. Very good. You see, she's gonna look around a little bit. As long as she stays on the circle, I'm gonna be okay with that. I'm gonna start steering her around, and I'm gonna use my outside rein and inside rein because one day with one hand, both those reins are gonna be moving at the same time. You can see my hands move together and I release. Hands move together and I release. What I don't encourage is this. When I see someone steering like this, no outside rein and just inside rein, I really don't enjoy that because one day with one hand, how are you gonna get the outside rein to move like that unless you have the inside rein cranked super short and you can kind of pull them around by their nose? Rather, what you need to work is the neck rein. So use the neck rein and force it with the inside rein. Now, I'll show you guys some of the counter canter that I've been working on. Cut this circle in half. We'll start going to the right. Got my right leg on. Her nose is, I'm gonna keep it pretty straight. And then I'm gonna work on moving her hip. So here I wanna put my right leg on back by the back cinch, move this hip out and release. You can see she knows that a little bit because we've been working on it. Right leg on back by the back cinch, move the hip out and release. Move the hip out and release. Now that's good that I have that. Now let's do my lead change, pre-lead change drill and see how she is at that. Let's break her down. Keep moving that hip over. Very good. Now let's move it to the next side and have a clean departure. When she elevates, I just put light pressure on the snaffle and release when she gets away from it. Let's go for the other way. Take her in a counter canter. Move her off and release. Move this hip out and release. Move the hip out and release. Now the reason that I'm moving the hip out, you might say, well, Luca, you're setting up for the lead change. Why would you want the hip out? You want the shoulder up and the hip to move in. Well, the lead change is based off of control of the shoulder and hip. So if I make sure in my pre-lead change drill that I can move the hip each direction, such as moving it out, breaking down, moving it in, pushing it in after I've departed, then I know that when I put that leg on, the hip's gonna go rather than the shoulder. Now let's see if we can get a change. Depart, put some pressure on with my hands when she elevates, and release when she gets level. Now, let's move her hip out a little bit. Very good. Now I just want the hip slightly to the outside of this mare's shoulders before I change, and then I'm gonna move the hip from outside the shoulders to inside the shoulders, and that's what's gonna cue this mare to change. I'm gonna move that hip just by putting on my outside leg back by the back cinch, and I'm just gonna have steady pressure, and I'm just gonna stay there until I feel her change. And I'm not gonna break down to the trot. So I'm gonna get some more forward motion, make sure she can go out here, and then you'll see, I'm gonna push my left foot forward by the shoulder, and then I'm gonna apply my right leg back by the back cinch, and I'm just gonna stay there with my leg and go round and round until she changes. Black and white, pressure and release. Now as I go around here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move my setup leg forward, as you can see, and now my right leg's on. And I'm just gonna hold it and keep using it until she changes and release. Very good. This mare, I haven't worked on changing leads before, but because of all that setup that we did, she understood when I put that right leg on back here, okay, I just need to move the hip over, keep my shoulder going straight.